Hi, thank you for joining me on my YouTube channel. My name is Maveen Kaura. This is a Discover Your Life Today YouTube channel. You can find me at discoveryourlifetoday.com. Today I'm going to be doing a little video here on Tuesdays with Morrie. It's a book by Mitch Albom. Unfortunately, I don't have a copy of the book. I did give my copy away because it isn't a powerful book, and I did believe other people need to read this book. So today's topic is really called Tuesdays with Morrie and how to live with A.L.S, a deadly disease. You know, Tuesdays with Morrie is really a story about an old man, a young man, and life's greatest lessons. You know, this is one of the books that teach about what life's greatest lessons and how to live when you are dying from a disease like A.L.S. Many people may not know what A.L.S is. It's, I hope I'm saying this right, Amyotrophic Lateral Sclerosis, or known as Gehrig's disease. You know, what it is it's a book here that was written by Mitch Albom on Morrie, and I'm going to go through a little bit more about who both of them are and why this book was written. But you know, it really was going to teach us about how to live when we are dying, or how to live when we're living. You know, a few years ago, you may have heard of the Ice Bucket Challenge, and that's what it was for. It was to help bring awareness to, Gehrig's disease, or amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, A.L.S. You know, the idea here is A.L.S attacks the nervous system, and it turns people into a lifeless form of their former self. Now, this is a case for many, many people. Many people die from this. Well, there's still a lot of people who are living with this disease, but they are not living the type of lives that they used to live or are used to living. Now, who was Morrie? Okay, Mitch Albom wrote Tuesdays with Morrie again, not only to bring awareness to A.L.S, but it was also to let people know about how people are living and dying with this deadly disease. You know, in this story, it really is about a heartwarming and heartfelt story about, Mitch and his teacher, right? There's millions of people who have never met Morrie, and of course he passed away, but again, he still touched the lives of millions of people. You know, he died when the O.J. Simpson double murder case verdict had come out in the late 90s. You know, and while that was going on, Morrie was at home just dying, and he was passionately dying, and he was feeling all this love from so many people and giving love to so many people, and that's why this book is so powerful, because you really get to see how important it is to be yourself and not let death even bring us down, even though it's a very hard statement to say. You know, Morrie had actually done 3 separate interviews with Dateline's Ted Koppel. Interesting thing too is when Morrie was telling his story about struggling with A.L.S, you know, in the book Mitch recounts I guess a time when Morrie was talking to Ted Koppel, and he actually brought Ted Koppel to tears as well, because his story was just so touching and so passionate that, you know, even Ted Koppel was just like, wow, you know, I have to cry. And unfortunately, a lot of people stop themselves from crying these days. But again, you know, so awesome that he didn't stop himself, and he just really allowed himself to feel the emotions that Morrie was giving him. So some of the things that Morrie talks about in the book, or I guess Mitch talks about in the book with Tuesdays with Morrie, is living your last days. That's the whole premises of this book. You know, would you like to know when you're going to die? It's a great question to ponder. You know, how would you spend your last days knowing that you're not going to wake up tomorrow? Would you do life different, or would you continue to do what you're already doing today? Would you lay down and give up? Or would you go out and spread the message of life to millions of people like Morrie did? Perhaps you would rather not know when your last day is and let it be a surprise. It's not an easy question to answer. Some people would say, yeah, I want to know. Some people would say, nah, I don't want to know. You know, life is a journey, it's a surprise, everything. And you're not wrong. You know, none of us are born with an expiry date, but we do need to learn how to live a lot better, I do believe. You know, I do think a lot of people who are poor and don't have anything know how to live better than people who are rich and who seem to have everything. You know, it's important to take this journey, you know, day to day, discover your life, discover your purpose, and discover your passion while you're still here on earth, because soon, you know, everyone will not be here, and we have to really be able to take advantage of our life here. We're very unique in doing so, and I think that's what Morrie was really trying to teach in Mitch's book. What will you do today to change the lives of other people around you? I think in order to understand how Morrie asked himself these questions and took action on these answers that he answered for himself, you have to really understand what it is to live with ALS as well, and what kind of the things that Morrie went through to live with ALS, and some of the stuff that he did while he was living with it as well, this disease. Would you let others help you when you're dying, or would you want to die alone? That's a question he asked himself, and such a powerful question, because a lot of times our egos get in our way and we don't want other people to help us. We know we can still do things ourselves. Morrie had asked himself, do I want to wither away and disappear, or do I want to make the best of the days I have remaining? He decided to make the best of the days he had remaining and help people and help himself at the same time. He was a teacher in real life. He had taught Mitch in the university and whatnot. That's where they initially met. And in end to his dying days, he stayed true to who he is and to his true nature of who he wants to be and who he wanted to be. Morrie wanted people to know that the only time to hear nice things about yourself is not when you're dead. It is sometimes really nice to hear what people have to say about you when you're alive. So what he did was something a little bit different. A lot of times, people come to your funeral and they say all these kind words, but unfortunately, the person who's laying in the casket is passed away. They really don't know. We really don't know if that person can really hear us or understand what we're saying. The nice thing was he did something called a living funeral. So he had all these people that were gonna be at his death funeral come there and talk really nice about him. They shared, stories and tears and jokes and emotion, and it really allowed him to hold on to those stories till his dying day and really live in that and enjoy those stories. Now, there's only a couple of reasons this book actually came together. This book wasn't actually meant to be written, I don't believe, by the author Mitch Albom. A little bit about their history. Mitch was a student of Morrie. They had taken in university. He was in his classes. They had developed a great friendship and relationship. As a student coach type of relationship. Every Tuesday, after class or whatnot, they would continue to talk and connect and talk about things that other people maybe were not talking about. But just like in normal life, Mitch moved away. He started living life. He got married. He got a job. He started working and really started to focus on his own day-to-day life. It wasn't until about 16 years later that he actually was turning through the channels and saw the Ted Koppel interview that changed his life. It changed the lives of many people who've had an opportunity to read this book. And that's why I gave my copy away. Because I do believe that as soon as that person that I gave it to had an opportunity to read it, it would change their life and they can keep passing that book around as well. Because it really taught me on how to live. So who was Coach Morrie to Mitch? And what did he teach him? So one of the things that, I believe Morrie taught Mitch was, you have to sometimes travel far to see the people you love. And that's a huge statement because, one of the things, Mitch lived in a different city, and every Tuesday he actually traveled for 4 months to go meet Morrie at his home. For 4 months straight, to take a flight, that's 16 flights, maybe one for every year that he had missed seeing his coach, kind of an odd coincidence, I guess, that I just picked up on. But for every month, every week that he's going, he's probably spending $300, $400, $500 on a ticket, maybe a place to stay, etc. But these are bills that he was willing to incur, just to be able to talk to his coach and friend. I believe that he understood that it takes work. It wasn't just about a paycheck. It's about spending your last days enjoying the company of people, not just, watching TV or being submerged in the life of other people that we don't know, like sports stars and reality stars and musicians and whatnot, right? It's really about being with our family and our friends and the people that we want to be connected to, not people that we really don't know and that we may never know, right? So continuing to live with ALS, this is something that wasn't easy. I mean, ALS eats away at your body, and it just pretty much shuts down your nervous system, and it just kind of, for Morrie at least, I know it started at his legs, and it kind of moved itself up as it started getting into his organs and everything else, and his arms and hands and whatnot. And he wasn't able to do the same things that he used to do, right? One of the things as well, right? Morrie understood that it's a life cycle. People come, people go. But we don't have to die not making a difference in people's lives, because even in our death we can make a difference, is what he wanted to teach. So we can look at the life of Stephen Hawking, because people can live a complete life still. Stephen Hawking, the great physicist, has A.L.S as well, and that's something that's very interesting. He never gave up. One thing I heard about Stephen Hawking, something he had said, it was so profound to me, and the way he looked at his disease and how he was living with it. And he said because he had this disease, he didn't have to focus his time on other things. He really had an opportunity to focus his concentration on his work. And because of that, he's been able to achieve so much more. It was just such an interesting way to look at it. Because of the disease, he was able to achieve more. Not, he didn't feel sorry for himself. He didn't say, oh, why me, poor me, or any of these questions. So reading the book Tuesdays with Morrie, there's a couple of things I definitely learned and took from this book, and I want to share those with you as well. Morrie was not a religious man. I'm not an overly religious person myself, although I do read a lot of religious books and texts and stuff like that. I'm kind of in the same thought process as well. It's about the philosophy, it's about the message, it's about the morals in these books. I really, it's hard to, get into this conversation, so I'm not going to. But I really don't want to get into a God conversation with people. As long as we're talking about morals and doing good and being good to other people, I don't think the rest really matters in most cases. If I've offended anybody, I'm sorry. I don't mean to. It's just me expressing a little about who I am and where I come from. Why do we think about old age as infinity? A lot of times we do, right? We believe in our youth that we have the fountain of youth, we'll never grow old, because science also kind of tells us that too, right? They found this medicine that they can give you. You take this pill, you use this cream, and you look young forever, you feel young forever, and we're just kind of being sold a dream. But really, the reality is we all die, and we need to learn how to live before we die and while we die. We need to accept death. Once we accept death, it'll allow us to live as well. Live also mean not just go to work and pay our bills and go through the day by day, but really go out there and do the things that we want to do and accomplish with our lives. He taught me, there is definitely a need for me to spend time with my loved ones. It's powerful. We don't spend time with our loved ones. We spend time in places we don't necessarily want to be. He also kind of taught me and made me think about, why do we always post pictures and images and comments on, let's say, on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and YouTube and Snapchat and Tumblr and all these different places? Why are we doing these things? Do we do it just to get a like from somebody else? Are we doing it for other people's approval of us? Shouldn't we be happy with our own approval of ourselves? Isn't that more important? So something that he made me think about, and thought I'd kind of share that with you as well. Making a difference. So this is something he kind of taught in the book as well. It's important to invest your time in relationships, humanity, family, friends, community, and helping other people. We have to learn to forgive others and forgive ourselves. We have to allow ourselves to cry, because when we allow ourselves to cry, we allow ourselves to be human. Sometimes I'm guilty of this. I don't always allow myself to feel empathy for other people, but that's something I've been working on over the many years now, and I have connected to my human side a lot more, because now I'm able to feel and understand how people feel a lot better. And before, I had maybe just shut myself off, maybe because of things I had gone through. Morrie helped me see that what we believe in society or believe about ourselves in this society is not always important. We really have to believe in ourselves. We need, if we're going to make a difference in this world, we really have to pay attention to other people and help, make their lives better. We can't let our thoughts be sidetracked by other people or even our smartphones these days. We have to know that, every single person we talk to today, and this could be the last video that anybody ever sees out there, but this could be the last video, and this might be your last moment and my last moment. Just maybe it's the last video I ever make. Hopefully not, and hopefully there's a long life ahead of me, but we never know. But every conversation we have, everything we do, we need to enjoy it. We need to go out there and be passionate about what we're doing and excited about what we're doing and sharing that passion and excitement with other people. This is just my quick book review on Tuesdays with Morrie by Mitch Albom. You know, this is a great book. Again, a story about an old man, a young man, and some of life's greatest lessons. I do think it's a great book to pick up. If you have an opportunity, please do so. If you know somebody living with A.L.S, you know, go sit with them and talk to them. I think it's a great way to spend that time with that person. Hopefully that person is open to having you spend that time with them. If you have any questions, please leave a comment. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel for discoveryourlifetoday.com. You can also go to discoveryourlifetoday.com and check out various articles I've written on there as well. Other than that, I hope you have yourself a great day. See you again.